Alright, so, over fall break, I had the opportunity to go to Ohio and to visit my cousin Bill Hayes at his place of work in the Ohio House of Representatives. I went just to see if I may be interested in having a career in government, but decided the stuff I learned was applicable to the Impress Me project. The Ohio House is organized in such a way that the Speaker kind of decides its structure. The majority party always sits to the right of the Speaker, and the minority to the left. The Speaker also decides where each rep is seated, and that can be in any order he chooses with no explanation from him. The Speaker is the only person who gets his own, special chair that received an unofficial name because once during Lincoln's election sort of route, he gave a speech outside the building, and even though he never sat in the chair, they still call it the Lincoln Throne. Directly next to this Lincoln Throne is a dinky-looking timeout chair. They call it the whisper chair, and basically if a rep decides that they need to talk to the Speaker during session, then they get to go up and sit in that chair. Each rep also gets a desk that was specially designed to look like the original desks from the 1800s. It has an array of buttons on it that are used to vote and also to ask to speak. Every vote is displayed openly on a screen on the wall that looks like a big scoreboard, and it will flash each name red or green depending on whether you vote yay or nay, and everyone basically gets to see how you voted. When the session started, the announcer person tells everyone that Bill Hayes would like to welcome his cousin sitting in on the session, so we had to stand up so they could clap for us. Now, this was a little off-putting since they knew exactly where in the audience we were sitting, and we didn't tell Bill that. The next things to come up were the resolutions, which Mr. Pate has mentioned just before. A rep comes up with a group of people, says something about them winning a state high school fishing competition, and gives them a resolution. A side note to help understand some of the pictures I draw later, each rep and or senator had a pin that is given to them and on which is stated their district and also which house they're a part of. Next, my cousin was chairman of a select committee on a bill about allowing PTSAs to raise money to buy inhalers for a school to keep on hand and use legally in an emergency. Due to some help from a friend of Bill's in the Senate, both the Senate and the House had approved their own versions of this bill, and thus they entered a joint committee in which 3 people from both houses had to come together and agree, which they did unanimously. Now, I don't see anything wrong with this bill, nor anything hard to understand, so I was really surprised when about 8 or so reps stood up to speak about it, and really all they talked about was why they supported or didn't support it, and Bill said they were really just talking to get their names out, and that they never go to vote for a bill unless they know they have the votes. Thus, most of the other representatives didn't pay any attention to those speaking, and in the case of a rep in front of me, they were just looking at Facebook. Now, I hope you learned something, or at least were intrigued by something. After this trip and its subsequent chapter, I've come to the conclusion I don't really want to be a representative, but I still won't forget this experience anytime soon. I would definitely like to leave a thank you, though, for my cousin and his wife who kind of acted as tour guide for us. Most of this information came from them, and I'm really grateful for them.